Well, hello to everyone from our Minnesota farm. This morning, it's March 12th, and I'm getting started farming. So first things first, feed the horses. And yesterday, I started dragging some corn stalks off because the corn stalks, I leave them pretty rough. I don't have a harrow behind my chisel plow. Kind of prefer to do it that way. So then I take a pretty heavy drag. I'll just give you a preview here what I use. I put my 8345 RT on it. Makes the ride a little smoother than using a mechanical front. And then I've got a 72-foot large tine harrow that I use. So this is my setup that I like to use for dragging off my corn stalks. Works pretty good. I know a lot of people out there will say, well, tractors are just loved in the field because they're just smooth as can be. If you've never driven a tractor before in a rough field, it's not as smooth as glass. Let's just put it that way. Is it a lot smoother than wheeled tractors? Sure. But you're still getting a little bit of bouncing around. Especially in a field like I've got out there where I leave it pretty rough. I mean, it just, granted, it's just a lot better than a mechanical front. However, it's not as smooth as glass. I just want to make sure that's clear, because a lot of people out there will say, oh, you'll love it out there, you just cruise right along and everything's so smooth. It's probably not quite accurate, but yeah, it is a lot better, and I wouldn't want to do it any other way than what I'm doing right now. This is pretty nice. Plus you have plenty of flotation with the tracks. You got plenty of traction with the tracks. So it works really slick on a big drag like this. Tractor here, both of my John Deere tractors, they have all the GPS right into them. So I'm running this on auto steer, of course. All of that is with the main manager on the tractor. So I don't have a separate screen around here. It's pretty clean in here.
biology major and philosophy minor. I'm from Taylor, Texas, and I'm the second youngest of 6 children. And yes, I also have 2 wonderful parents who homeschooled me K through 12. And once we started using a certain homeschooling program, my relationship with the Lord really began to grow, and I fell in love with the church. And yeah.
For a number of years, so you've seen this happen. Of course, this event is all about discerning our call, asking questions, seeking answers. Can you describe how have you been helped in your discernment by this? Bridget, let's start with you.
Sure, yeah. Well, when I first experienced the Vocations Jamboree, I sort of already
That's
had
it.
an
That's
idea
all there is
of where
to
the
it.
Lord might be calling me.
Dragging is a very simple event.
It's so wonderful and inspiring to see all these different religious communities and service organizations that make up the body of the church. And with that, it's good in that it gives clarity, either helping me to reflect on myself and think about what the Lord may or may not have in store for me. And yeah, just expanding my horizons and eliminating that fear of the unknown that I think.
One more note I'm just gonna fill in here before I'm done. All drags aren't the same. So this is a very aggressive drag. It's got extremely large tines on it, very heavy. You can actually basically till a field with this thing if you go aggressive enough. So that's why it's good for leveling off really rough ground like those corn stalks that I was on. However, if I level my headlands here on the soybeans, like here they were putting on anhydrous afterwards, plus I had chisel plowed and stuff, and it can get a little rough when you're turning on the headland. Sometimes I'll run a drag across just to level that off to make it a little smoother when I turn. Well, for that, I'd rather use the drag over there. That drag has different purpose. It is aggressive, plus that one I could use after the crop is actually, even the corn is actually up a little bit. You can still run a drag like that over it to take out small grasses, whereas a heavy tine drag like this one you can't use. It'd take your crop right out. I haven't actually used this drag here for a few years, but I put all new tines on it after I'd gotten it. Picked it up really cheap actually, and so tines were at that time were pretty reasonable too, because metal prices hadn't gone up so much like they are now. I put all new teeth on it and so forth, and so it's not a bad little drag. It's actually 60 foot wide, so it takes a nice big step. But if I use these teeth into really rough ground, I will break more of these. The other ones don't break very easily, whereas once in a while you could break these or hit them on a rock or something like that. So they're not near as heavy. However, like I say, this drag has different uses for it. You can actually use these in crops after you've planted. Sometimes you'll use them over the cornfield right before the corn comes up. You don't see near as much of that now because most farmers depend on chemicals a lot. So, but organic farmers, they will use these drags quite often. They'll drag maybe a couple of times. Once right before the corn's up, another time after it's up. Soybeans you can't do that on, but you can with corn. So, but I think I may hook this up. I haven't used it for several years, but if I do anything on the headlands here in the beans, I'd rather use this one. It's just not as aggressive, doesn't break it down so fine. I'm one of those guys, I really believe organic matter is everything, so I don't like to work my ground more than I have to. I don't like to work it deeper than I have to. And so I just like a little bit more of conservation practices. And my organic matter levels actually over the years have been increasing. So I think it's working, and that's the way I kind of like to go. So that's the education today here for my dragging of my fields. Thanks for being with us.